When I heard last season that there was going to be a Brawn GP docuseries, I could not believe it. And I absolutely can't wait when I hear that it's being put together by Keanu Reeves, an actor who is very well respected and who I know will do a good job and is just a safe pair of hands with this. And it's going to be launched on Disney+. I think that sounds like an absolutely fantastic package. We heard a few things about this last year and then it all kind of went quiet. There was lots of rumblings at it last year. Keanu Reeves was at a few races and he was having a few interviews with Martin Brundle on Sky Sports, and yeah, there was a lot of buzz about it, but things kind of went away, and I guess the whole thing was being produced. But now I think it's getting closer towards launch time, so I thought it'd be a great idea to have a look at it and see what we know so far. So what we know from IMDb, that it's going to be a 4-part docu-series covering Brawn GP's story throughout the 2009 season. And I think doing a 4-parter is fantastic because this is just not a story that you can squeeze into an hour-long documentary. I'm sorry, it's just not. There's just so much to it where Honda pulled out of the sport, there was a whole panic about it, people were going to lose their jobs. Ross Brawn came in, bought the team for £1, managed to secure the Mercedes-Benz engine, and they went forward from there. So the documentary is going to be called Brawn, the £1 Formula One Team. Very good title, I think. And according to IMDb, obviously Keanu Reeves is going to be hosting it, Jenson Button's going to be in it, Ross Brawn's going to be in it, and it looks like, according to IMDb, there's going to be an actor called Simon Britton who's listed as being the Honda director, so there looks like there could be a bit of acting and drama involved, which could be pretty good. Now, the storyline reads, in 2009, competing in the most expensive and technologically advanced racing series on Earth, the impossible happened. An understaffed, underfinanced and independent team won the World Championship with a team that cost just £1. Go behind the scenes of this Formula One fairy tale with the people who were there, on the track, in the garage and in the boardroom, giving their own thrilling versions of this miraculous year. Expect exclusive access to F1 archives, most of it previously unseen, from a year that global sport will never forget, with contributions from British F1 driver Jenson Button and Ross Brawn, who led the team to victory. Now this is going to be excellent because obviously there's loads of footage on track and, you know, just from behind the scenes and in the pits and everything, but to see some of the stuff behind the scenes, that is going to be really interesting. You know, if they've got stuff, you know, right at the beginning, from when it was announced that Honda was pulling out of the sport, it was great to get an indication as to how the people inside the team thought about it. Because at the end of the day, these are people who have got families and livelihoods, and you know, when Honda pulls out the sport, you know, they've got families to look after. And what makes it worse is that Honda in 2008 pretty much gave up at the start of the season and put work into the car that would become the Brawn GP 001, which went on to dominate and showcase the very genius but controversial double diffuser at the time. The company that's producing it is called North One Television, and under technical specs it's going to be in colour, which is a huge advantage. I'm personally really excited about this because in all my years of being an F1 fan, 2009 for me was one that was just so exciting and emotional, and I was in it the whole way through. And I think it's fantastic because since Drive to Survive came along, the fans and viewership for Formula One has rocketed up. To give them a bit of history around the 2009 season and Brawn GP, which they might not initially be aware of, would be absolutely fantastic. But let's not forget that Brawn GP evolved into the, at the time, all-conquering, all-dominating, Lewis Hamilton-driven Mercedes Grand Prix team. It doesn't say it on IMDb, but it would be interesting to hear if there's going to be any interviews or insights from Rubens Barrichello, because I remember at the start of the 2009 season, Button was signed up, but there was some question as to who was going to be taking the second seat. Obviously Barrichello was the most logical choice, but there was going to be some questions around whether it could be Bruno Senna, who was going to be bringing in some pretty big sponsorship money from Brazil. It looks like the docuseries is going to be launched in 2023 as well, so hopefully we're nearly there, we're not too far off. So I better get that subscription to Disney Plus fired up and sorted out then. But for me though, this is going to be a very personal trip down memory lane, because as a fan, I remember being right there in 2008 where, you know, Lewis Hamilton went on to win the championship with McLaren. I was there as a Jenson Button fan in his absolutely rubbish Earth Dreams Honda. I even had a Earth Dreams Honda t-shirt at the time, which I was going around just trying to show support. And I remember at university looking at the F1 news on my laptop, there was all this debate about whether Honda are going to absolutely smash it in 2009. Can you imagine my horror when you have a look at the news, you open your laptop, have a look at the news, and it says Honda has pulled out of Formula One. That's it. There's no ifs or buts, they've done it. And as a Button fan at the time, you're just thinking, oh, fiddlesticks. He's going to be without a drive next season. That might be the end of it now. What now? Who do I support? But it kept on going. It didn't seem like that wasn't the end. There was report, you know, we were told that Ross Brawn was going to keep the thing moving and bubbling away, and they were going to scrape everything together and see what was happening. They were chasing perhaps new names, new ownerships, and all this sort of stuff was going on behind the scenes. The team was renamed Brawn GP, and then it looked like they were off and running. They were heading off to practice in Spain. And then the times came in and they were fastest. But they were fastest in a different way, because when you do pre-season testing, the lap times, they don't really mean anything. But for some reason this time, when Brawn went fastest, people were really taking notice, but in a different way. It looks like a lot of the big teams were thinking, oh crap. And this was just so exciting, because it looks like the team was running on an absolutely threadbare budget, but they were going to go to Australia anyway. I remember getting up at stupid o'clock in the morning for qualifying and for the race. I don't think the practice was shown in those days, as it was on BBC. Jenson Button was on pole, and I remember there was an interview right before the race where Martin was saying to him, do you think you'll win? And rather than coming up with this PR, Jenson just turned to him and confidently just said, yes. But there you are, you know the story. Brawn GP absolutely smashed it for the first pass of the season. Their development and money started to dwindle and run out, so the performance of the car dropped off. And they just scraped it over the line at the end. And it was just the perfect Formula One story. And I cannot wait for Disney to put this out. It is going to be absolutely amazing, and we all need to take notice, especially now as we are hearing the Dutch national anthem every single weekend with Max Verstappen, and the season's very boring. And it's going to be great to see some new footage, Jenson going around in the Brawn car. By the looks of the photos, he's still got the Brawn helmet, Brawn overalls, and it's just going to be looking like I'm time traveling back to 2009. You know, don't forget, I think there's only one of these cars actually left running. From what I hear in various interviews, there's no spares. So, you know, running it is a huge risk. And if there's just the slightest accident, that's bye-bye Brawn car, I guess. Anyway, I absolutely can't wait for this documentary. It'd be great to hear your views and memories on this, and if you know anything else about it, absolutely can't wait. So yeah, thank you very much. Please like, share and subscribe, and we'll see you soon.
Oh, here he is. He's over here, look. Well, can you do this?
Yes.